Hey yo, what's up? I'm your girl A1 the artist, aka I am the Black Sheep.
And I'm your girl Robin.
And today we're gonna talk about the shit that people think about
but don't want to talk about. Similar thoughts. What's up, A1?
Hey, how you doing today, Robin?
I'm all right. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a long work week, but other than that, I'm cool.
Good. So we are here, A1. We did it. We are kicking off our podcast. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm excited and nervous and all of the things, but I'm ready to get into it and talk about these things.
I'm ready too. In today's episode, from the description, we're going to be talking about single trials. And my good friend A1 over here is a single lady. So this episode is going to be all about her. Okay? So let's get into it.
I just want to clarify, I'm like single, no ring single, but I'm in a relationship, but no ring single. So I want to clarify that. I don't want to make anybody mad.
Oh, wait a minute. This is news to me.
Oh my goodness.
Tell me about this relationship.
I met him online, and he's very near to me. But we've been dating for about a year. So yeah, but yeah, we haven't got a ring yet. But I don't expect one for quite a while. That would be crazy. But so I'm single, but that way, not necessarily single. But I just came out of being single, so I understand that whole process too.
Okay, so I learned that 3 in 10 Americans use a dating app, to find a relationship. Did you use a dating app to find your dude, or did you do it the traditional way? How'd you meet him?
I actually did meet him on Plenty of Fish, which is crazy because Plenty of Fish is trash. So the fact that I found him was like a diamond in the rough in a sense. I've also tried like Tinder, and then I tried a Latina site called Crispa, which was fun, but a lot of them guys couldn't speak English, so there's that. Um, and I tried Christian Mingle. So it was various ones that I was finding along the line, and that whole process is interesting all in itself. But he came from Plenty of Fish.
Okay, I've actually heard of Plenty of Fish. My sister used to call it Plenty of Frogs because she would make fun of me when I used it. But
it's crazy. Yeah. It's like you get like, I feel like that's like the lowest brand of dudes on there. Like they don't have cars, they don't have houses. They want to try to lay up and chill, Netflix and chill. I'm like, can we get a date?
Really? I didn't have that experience on Plenty of Fish. I tried Tinder for a split second, and that's the energy I got on Tinder.
That's interesting.
Was, the dive into your sheets energy. But I was using it my first year at Georgia State because I was new to Georgia. I didn't know anybody. I didn't really talk to anybody because I'm a little shy, if you can tell from the intro. So I didn't really meet guys the traditional way. I forget who, I think it was my sister that actually recommended Plenty of Fish to me, which is where I met my Latin lover.
Latina. Hi, papi.
Well, one was that my first or second encounter? I forget, but I've had 2 Latin lovers, and one of them I met on Plenty of Fish, and it was something. Okay. But I'm a married woman, so I can't get into that.
We don't want
at least not this episode.
We don't want you to get in trouble. So
at least not this episode.
Yeah. So I just kind of take dating apps for what they are. Really, it's a good place to meet people, but it can become overwhelming because you get a lot of hits and you got to go through the weeding process. And so you might have like 50 dudes that actually hit you up. And out of those 50 dudes, you might choose 10. And out of those 10, they might have 5 of them might have the qualities that you want. And then out of those 5, then you narrow down to 3 that you really like. And then from that 3, you did 1. And so that's pretty much the process I went through. But yeah, I was pretty lucky in finding what I found, you know. So yeah.
Did you make the first move with any of these guys? Like, did you shoot your shot, or you always let had them come to you?
No, I really didn't have to. Like my profile is crazy. Like dudes just hit me up, so I was like, okay, this is overwhelming really fast. But you get to weed them out really quick. At the time, I was celibate, so like when dudes was coming at me about sex out the gate, I was like, nah. I'm good because that's not what I'm trying to do, and if that's the first thing you're trying to do, then it's probably not gonna work out. So
Okay. You're celibate, or you were celibate. How was that in during your single trials? What was that like? I imagine it's pretty challenging.
Yeah, because I say it has its good sides and its bad sides. Because like the good sides is because I created these levels for myself or standards for myself that I had never really looked at before, and it kind of gave me a different insight on what I really wanted in a relationship, and then also the fact that the bad side is like you weed them out so quick because I ran across so many guys that were like, "Oh, you're not having sex, then it's a wrap. Like I'm good." And I'm like, "Cool, if that's the way you are, because you're probably not for me anyway." So it wasn't until I met a few dudes that that wasn't their go-to. Like it was really interested in trying to get to know who I am. And so to me, I'm like, I'm a dope chick. Like get to know me. Don't just base it on what's between my legs because there's so much more to me than that. And so that whole process was difficult being single.
Okay. And how long were you celibate, or how long have you been celibate? And
I
why? Why are you celibate? What?
What triggered that?
Yeah.
I had well, I've always had issues with guys wanting sex out the gate or having that feeling of that that's all they want anyway. So the reason why I decided to be celibate is I read this book that my pastor gave me called God Love Sex, and it basically talked about all the scientific things behind you, like the dopamine and the serotonin and all the things that are released. And it talked about soul ties and how every time you have sex with someone, you're releasing that to them, and vice versa. So all their bad is coming into you, and all their good is coming into you, and vice versa. So it was a pretty good book. And at the time, I had just got out of a horrible relationship, horrible. He was trash, like super trash, very selfish. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to step back and kind of get to know myself and build my relationship with God a little better so that I can really decide what it is I want. And through the journey, I was celibate for 5 years. I was also single for 5 years. And through that journey, I really got to know myself and really got to know what I wanted in my life and what I would stand for and what I didn't want, and just really loving who A1 is and and everything that I aspired to be and what I wanted in a partner. So once I figured that all out, then I was like, at the beginning of 2020, I was like, I am ready and I'm going to find someone who is potential marriage potential. And so that's when I kind of start getting into the dating scene. And boy, that was some interesting stuff. Oh my God, I got stories. I don't think we have enough time, but I got stories.
We got a little bit of time. So from what I gather, your spirituality is really important to you. Have you always been a spiritual person, or is this something new to you?
I've always believed in God. I'm gonna say that because when I was younger, that's what you're taught is like God is everything and all these things. But it wasn't until about 10 years ago I started going to this church that, and the pastor was like, "Don't believe me, because pastors say whatever. You need to do your own research." And I was like, that's the first time I heard that because most pastors be like, what I say goes and blah, 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 and you're going to hell if you don't do these things. And so he used to have this library based on every emotion or everything that you may be going through in life. You pick it, and then it was scripture, and he had a sermon that was related to whatever you were going through. And so I started doing little things based on how I was feeling, which caused me to read the Bible more. And in that process, I began to develop a stronger relationship with God. And so,
Okay. So, to our listeners, they don't know much about you, but I know you're not from Atlanta. So,
I'm not.
tell us where you're from and kind of if the dating scene from where you're from is different from here in Atlanta. Like, do you see a difference? Because I always hear that dating in Atlanta, being a single woman in Atlanta, is hard as hell. So, how has it been for you compared to where you're from? I don't want to. I want you to tell the people where you're from.
Okay, I don't mind. I'm from KCMO, Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas though, because everybody Mesquite. We're not from the tumbleweeds. I'm from the city, but yeah, the dating scene is different. Like, I love me some Kansas City dudes. Like, it's something about them that they just like hardcore in that hood type way, and they got a different type of swag than Georgia dudes. Um, but I mean not Georgia dudes too, because they got their own type of swag. It's just different. There's more Southern hospitality here, and there's just a different way of thinking, a different mindset. Like Kansas City is a lot smaller than Atlanta, so the differences in that alone kind of bring a different type of personality or a different type of dude. The other thing that was super difficult is that the ratio of women to men here. There and so like when I first moved to Atlanta, they guys like came to me and was like, "Yeah, I have a girlfriend, but I like you too." And I was like, "Whoa, so that's allowable? Like that's what they do down here?"
These in Georgia are nuts.
Right. So I was like, okay. But that I was like, I appreciate your honesty, but no, I'm good. So yeah, I think that that's a major difference. And then the other thing is that I went to a gay club with my friend, and he took me to this place called Bullfrogs. And when I went in there, I looked around and I saw all these like hardcore gangster, like you see them on the street, they would swear them down. That's not how they get down. And so I was like, okay, and they was in there twerking better than some of the females. I was like, that's crazy. So
Man,
like cock their hat to the side, like what? Let's get it. And so
they be throwing that ass.
right. And so I was like, it just made me think like, okay, like I understand, like I have nothing against people who are bisexual or whatever, but I'm like, you got to keep that level of honesty open. Like I wouldn't know if that's what you were doing on the side. Like give me that choice to say, okay, if you are messing with men and women, just let me know. Like let's keep it safe here. So that kind of atmosphere was like, it made me super cautious about meeting guys too. So it's been a journey. I've been here since 2008, and I've had a few encounters, but nothing super serious until now.
Okay. So you would actually be open to dating a bisexual man? Is that what you're saying?
Mm.
No.
um, I'm saying that I don't have a problem with men that are bisexual. I just feel like you should let people know,
Okay.
and so that everybody knows what they're getting into. Like it's not my personal bag, but I get it. I just say keep it honest. That's all.
Okay. I respect it. I ain't mad at it. So celibacy, I understand, is an important part of your life. But what are some other standards? Like, what are some other things you expect in a partner? Like when you're on this single journey.
Um, Actually, my standards have kind of changed based on what I am in right now. But when I started to go back, I was like, okay, I want somebody that's supportive and honest and that will hold me accountable to shit and help me grow, and that they are individually trying to grow on their own, and we can kind of build together from where we both are as individuals and kind of move forward in that way. um, but I've also learned that I like I like the flowers, and I like the nice gestures, and the buying me lunch randomly, cash apping me money or whatever. Like that's sweet. Like I've never had that, so I like that shit too. Like I don't think I would accept anything less at this point. So yeah, and then being able like having your own shit. Like I feel like, to me, I have my own car, I have my own place, I have a career, I'm trying to do so many other things. So like, if you're not ambitious, you don't have a car, I'm not trying to come and get you everywhere we go. I'm not trying to go sleep in your mama basement and we chilling out and she like, hey, y'all want some popcorn while y'all watching the Netflix? Like, no, that's that's not what's up at 40. So yeah, that's pretty much what my standards were. I keep it really simple because I don't want, like, as long as you have the basics, then we can kind of build from there. But I'm super attracted to intelligence. I like to call myself a sapiosexual, which is somebody who is turned on by an intelligent conversation. So if you can talk about something and you can actually, like, you're a thinker, that's a big turn on for me. So like, if you texting me like, what you doing, and then I answer you, and then 2 hours later you like, what you doing again, like, you gonna lose my interest quick, real quick.
Mm. I know I've dealt with a few dudes like that. I can't stand it. And then a lot of people like to say, well, a lot of people like to defend people like that. Well, you don't know what they're doing. They could be busy, blah, blah, blah. I think that's just weird, though. Like, if you're busy, let me know. Like, don't
Right.
just send me a text and then I reply and then you reply 3 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, that's what you do the rest of the day. Like, that's weird. And I'm cutting you off. I don't understand why dudes do that. Like, if you're busy, let me know.
I'm a big believer in people make time for what they want to make time for. And so if you are not getting text back, it's probably because are not really that into you. Because if a person is really into you, they're going to make sure that they check on you and make sure that they send you the little things throughout the day, or just make sure you're good. And so
Yeah.
if they are busy per se, like even in your busiest time, there's 2 minutes to say, hey, I'm doing this. I'm gonna catch up with you later. That don't even take
Exactly.
2 minutes. What did I say there in a couple seconds? Yeah.
A couple of seconds, and that's because I see it because I use Twitter a lot. I don't know if you use Twitter, but I see that often as people defending people like that, and I don't like it. Like I feel like that's a standard you should have for yourself. Like, cut if they ain't making time for you, like if they can't send you a quick little 3-word text message saying they busy
Mm-hmm.
and they'll talk to you in a minute, then cut them off. Like, stop trying to. I feel like women or young women settle very quickly.
Yeah. I think like
And
women, period. I don't think it's young women. It's just women, period. Like they have to feel like that they need a man. And so they'll
mm,
accept all the bullshit that comes with the shitty man instead of. And I can speak for myself because I was one of those women that accepted the bullshit. But once you know better, you try to do better. So
yeah, so it's definitely something that we have to do better at. I am guilty of being one of those people where when I was single and I would like stick around even though I hated the late responses. It's like, okay, the fact that he still got back to me. Okay, we went on a couple dates. He is interested in me. He just isn't that interested or as interested as I want him to be. But the fact that he was showing interest is why I guess I stuck around.
mm-hmm.
And another reason, I was new here and I didn't know anybody. And that was like one of the very few people I was talking to. So I was like, well, let me just stick around. Because, I mean, this is all I got. I need some attention. I want some attention. But that's definitely something that I grew out of very quickly because I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think that people know, I don't care who you are, people know exactly what they're going through at the time that they're going through it. And people know exactly how that makes them feel in that moment. It's just what you will be willing to tolerate until you cannot tolerate it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you say, okay, well, he doesn't call me, but he spends more time. He spends some time with me, so it's cool. We'll work that out. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna deal with that shit until you get tired of it, and once you get tired of it, you move forward.
Yep, absolutely. So, A1,
Hmm.
I want to circle back. It's a terrible segue, but I want to circle back to your celibacy.
Okay.
So, I want to ask you, are you still celibate? You're in a relationship. You've been in a relationship for roughly a little over a year now.
Yeah.
Are you still practicing your celibacy?
No. No. But
Okay.
I'm not mad at it. You know, like when I went into the situation, I was like, I don't want to do anything until I get the ring, and that was my stance. But when I met him, it was something about him that I was like, this guy is amazing, and I had no guilt or anything behind it when we had it, and when we did, the connection was just great, and I felt like he was going to be around for a long time, and he made me feel safe and all of these things. So it it didn't feel bad to break my celibacy, so I was okay with it.
Okay. Okay. And for those of you who don't know who A1 is, she does have two amazing kids,
I
a
do.
daughter and a son. They're fantastic.
Awesome.
And and um a big, you know, your kids are like the most important people in your life, and I know who you want to bring around your kids is like in a very important decision. So at what point in the relationship or the situationship do you decide, I'm okay with introducing you to my kids?
I think for me, like, I don't want to do it too early. You definitely want to make sure that the person is going to stick around before you start introducing kids into the equation, because kids get attached. Like they love whoever they like. Hey, daddy got a new girlfriend, or mama got a new boyfriend, and it's gonna be great. This gonna be my new daddy or whatever. And it's like, whoa, like pump the brakes. You got to be really cautious about who you bring around your kids. For me, I just kind of played it by the ear. Like in the past, like my kids are, my son is 15 and my daughter's 10. Like in my son's 15-year period, he's only seen me with two guys. And so one of them being who I'm with now. And so I'm really super cautious about who I allow to meet my kids, because I just recognize the impact that that has on them. So I don't want to do that. So I guess the firm answer is whatever you feel comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like if you vibing out and you feel like this is like you want to introduce the kids into the situation and let that go out, then do what you feel. But for me, like with my current relationship, we was probably talking for about 6 months before they met the kids, or he met the kids.
Okay. Do you regret introducing them to the kids, or you felt like it was okay, it was the right time?
I feel like it was the right time because the kids were kind of curious about, who I was on the phone with and who was always taking up time. So they was just like, I would like to meet them or whatever. So I don't feel any regrets.
Okay. And what about your parents or your siblings, your family that you're really close with? Like when did you decide to introduce them to your family?
I think that typically speaking, I would introduce my dude to my family and my mom first before the kids, because it's like, okay, assess this dude real quick to see if what you think before you get around the kids. And the current situation, COVID's been around, so you got to kind of be mindful about who you're around, and so you want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. So in this situation, we have not met each other's parents, so we just kind of play it by ear. I think that if COVID wasn't a factor, then the situation would be different. But since it is, it's kind of like I just want to meet what's close to you, what's in your home, and that's what I'm comfortable with.
Okay. And I take it you feel the same way. The other side, like if your dude has kids, are you, I guess, because you have kids, you kind of understand. So aren't really like forcing or pressing to meet the kids, or is it very important to you to meet his kids?
I think that I'm not pressing for it because I understand that people have their own pace and stuff, but I also think that it would be nice because to see a father's interaction with their kids or a mother's interaction with their kids lets you know what kind of parent they are and what kind of parent they could possibly be to your kids based on how they treat their own. And so if they're a shitty father to their own kids, you kind of got to be mindful that they might be a shitty father towards your kids and vice versa. So I think that that's important because you get to see the interaction, like how the kids respond to them and how they respond to their kids and what kind of relationship they have and what kind of stuff they let slide. Because some stuff I'm like, I ain't about to let you just walk in the house and throw your shoes in the middle of the floor, but you might let your kids do that. And I'm like, okay, are you gonna say something about them picking up their shoes or no? Because if you're not, then that might become something. You know what I mean? So I think all those things are important to kind of assess in the relationship moving forward because it gives you that insight on how the rules are with the how you what your morals and values are with your kids versus what my morals and values are with my kids and how do those two morals and values intertwine.
Okay. Well, I think this is a good stopping point. I love what you had to say.
Cool, cool.
But I will, let me just say one quick thing. When I was single and I was dating Osei, we had been dating for a while. And I felt like I was ready to meet his kids because, we both knew that this was something serious. And I feel like I did press the issue only because, I wanted him to be in my life forever, and I wanted his kids to be in my life forever. It's a package deal, and I understand that.
Right.
And I can honestly say I hate how long it took for me to meet the kids, and then once we finally moved in with each other, it feels like our relationship was forced at that point because we're living together at this point, but we didn't really have a strong relationship. So that's why if you're dating somebody with kids, I feel like if you know it's something serious, like in your gut, you should introduce the kids.
So you feel like that I'm sorry to cut you off. So you feel like that you didn't get a chance to build the relationship with the kids before you and Osei moved in?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too because that's important too. Because what if the kids don't like you, and then you like forced into this situation? And it's like you gotta like me now because I'm Dad's wife now or whatever.
Yeah. So I can say that I wish that we handled that a little differently, but we're good now. 4 years down. One big happy family.
And many more to come. And many more to come. Yes, definitely.
But A1, this was a lovely, lovely talk. I hope you have a fantastic week and a fantastic weekend. And I will see you next week.
For sure.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoyed today's topic. Let's keep the conversation going. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Similar Thoughts Podcast and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _Similar Thoughts.
And also follow me at A1 the Artist. That's AONE _the _artist. And I am the Black Sheep. And that's IM _THA Black Sheep. Thanks again for listening. And you guys have a wonderful week.